welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, here with my boy,
Soltero, what's up, y'all?
folks. Today, we have a very special guest on the show, a man who has made more saves than a lifeguard at Barton Springs on Labor Day weekend. Shout out our lifeguards. He's the heartbeat between the sticks for Austin FC, the shot stopper who somehow manages to keep us cool while Verde fans lose theirs in the stands. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, the one, the only, Stuuu. Yes, sir. Welcome, brother.
That was a pretty decent intro there. I like that.
Dude, it's great to have you on the show. And actually, I want to start with that chant because every time you make a big play, Q2 Stadium roars with your name. Do we know the origin of how this started? Was it just some guy off of 3 IPAs?
It wasn't like the first year, like it wasn't the first game that it happened. It just kind of like happened over time. And I think most people just kind of got on board, but you still have to explain it to all the newbies that come out.
That's crazy, and I feel like as part of the goalkeeper experience is the fact that you do hear so much yelling, either at you or with you throughout a game. I was curious to know, what's some of the craziest things you've heard just be yelled at you, whether it's the Austin FC fans or those away fans? You must have heard some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, most of that probably shouldn't be told on live is because of censorship and whatnot. But I think one of the craziest ones was I actually got mooned. Like I just turned around and there it is, just staring at
Yeah.
me. So that was probably one of the most interesting moments that I've had.
Life of a goalkeeper, I guess. And honestly, that's kind of what I really want to talk about is your unique journey to where you are right now. I really want to get into it. So let's go all the way back because my first question for you, and I've always wanted to ask this to a goalkeeper, is why goalkeeping? Like, truly, why? Was it always something that you were drawn to, maybe watching the game, or something your coach just put you on?
That's my older brother. So the only way that I got to play with my older brother and his friends was if I was in goal because they were like doing 1v1, 2v2, like all that stuff. So the only chance I got to play with like the older kids was if I was in goal. That's where my first concussion comes from. And then after that, it was just kind of, I started doing it in club because nobody else really wanted to step in goal. And then I got to play up with the older kids and you just got to play a lot more games. So it was one of those where I was like, oh, I get to play more. So if I'm goalkeeper, I get to play my age group. I get to play up. I'll get to guest with some other teams. So for me, it was just like, how many games can I play?
Yeah.
And I guess being, 6'3", my follow-up question is, did you ever maybe consider basketball?
I was not this tall. It's very late on.
Oh, really?
Freshman year of high school, I was 5'2", and then sophomore year 5'4", junior year 5'6".
Oh, what?
Senior year of high school, I was 6'1", and then I grew another 2 inches before college.
Wow.
So no, definitely did not think about basketball.
Dude, I was 5'7" in 8th grade, and then I stopped.
Yeah, my wife always jokes that if she would have met me in high school, she would have never be together because of how short I was.
But in line with kind of pursuing being a goalkeeper, I think I read that you did play midfielder though, in college, and you put up some numbers. I saw like high school. 12 goals, 5 assists. I think is what I read. Would that have been the position that you would have pursued if you had not gone down the goalkeeper path?
Probably. I mean, I always went to like foot skill training and goalkeeper training like growing up, just because, like I said, I just wanted to go to everything. But yeah, in high school, we had a young goalkeeper that was pretty good, and like I was one of the only club players on my high school team, so I came out and I played for in the midfield for half the season. It was fun. It was a lot of running. I'm glad I chose
Yeah.
keeper.
So after high school, I'm curious to know, were you exploring other options to become a professional footballer, or was college always going to be that route? Because, in the realm of soccer, I would actually say taking the college route is a more rare path. So is that something that you considered? Was it other options, or did you want to go to college to be the structure to further your career?
I'll say that, like, for my generation, I'm going to age myself a little bit. The pathway then was college, and it was the draft. We were kind of the last generation that was kind of the primary before it started switching to academies and like homegrowns and all of those ways to become a pro. I did look at other avenues to become a pro. We had the Brad Friedel Academy in Ohio. He kind of came back, did all these things, and I trained with him for a few summers and was part of like his academy by extension. And he had opportunities to like go overseas and train with like U23s and stuff. But I chose to go to the college route because I wanted to like get an education, do all these things. And that was kind of where I met like my mentor, my goalkeeper coach, and he's my agent still today. And he was the one that kind of told me that I could go pro. And he's kind of the one that has navigated me through the professional MLS world. And um, so for me, it was never really like going pro was like the goal. I didn't ever think I was gonna be in a position that was high profile enough that was gonna get me there. I just wanted to get my education, uh, and play soccer at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just worked out that I met somebody that kind of knew the ins and outs of a league and kind of pushed me to seek out professional.
How would you describe your path after college? Being at multiple teams in the MLS, kind of jumping around the league, but looking for a home, a place to be, leading up to ultimately your arrival with Austin FC. How would you describe all those years and that time that you spent trying to find your place in the league?
Yeah, I mean, year one was a whirlwind. Drafted to Montreal, spent the preseason there. They dropped me on the second to last day, told me they weren't going to give me a contract. I was kind of free falling at that moment. I ended up in Columbus. I stayed in Columbus that entire year, but I was on the lead pool like tag. And basically that was any team that needed a goalkeeper like in a time of hardship, whether it was an injury or a red card, they would fly me out and I would just train with that team. I was able to go out to 4 or 5 different teams that year, train. It was like Jesus USA, Seattle, New England, Columbus, Real Salt Lake. So I got to experience different club cultures, different goalkeeper coaches, kind of got to train with different goalkeepers. Like I was with Ramondo, I was with Michael Gershperning, I was with Reese, like all these guys. So um, as much as it was a crazy year, it was a really big learning experience for me because I got to see what different teams did, what different goalkeeper coaches did. And then after that year, I signed on with Columbus, stayed there for 4 years, New York City for 3, and then obviously here for the past 5.
Was any of that stressful?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you keep yourself, I guess, motivated, disciplined, even though, you weren't necessarily completely tied to one club during that time?
I think just being surrounded by the right people, that understood like my goals, understood the journey that I was on, and understood that kind of everything that I was doing was leading to a moment kind of like Austin. So those first 8 years was kind of building to that moment where I was going to get my chance to become a starter. And I knew and I believed that if I got my chance that I could take it and run with it. And luckily I had the right people around me, my wife, my agent, my family, my friends, like everyone believed and kind of trusted what I believed in myself. So that kind of gave me the confidence to like make the decisions that I made to lead me to that point.
I feel like we're seeing that belief you had in yourself come to fruition here in Austin with the support, the way these fans love you, the team. You've been here since year one. And I'm really curious to know what's the difference that you're noticing now between the experience, the role you play for Austin FC today versus, those early days when Austin FC was just getting incorporated. What's the biggest difference you're seeing?
I would say in year one, my main focus was kind of on me. It was my first time being a starter. I really wanted to prove myself. I wanted to showcase that I could be a consistent starter. And so I was so focused on making sure that I was doing things right every day, that I was performing on game day, and like the results would come. But as I've got more ingrained in this community, ingrained in this team, my leadership role in the locker room has changed. And it's not just about me, it's more like, how can I get more out of my team? Like, yes, I hold myself to a certain standard to be the best I can be and be the goalkeeper that I know that I can be, but also how can I bring other players with me to that level? Like, it's not just about how can I be the best player individually, but it's how can I be the best player I can be while also making everyone else around me the best that they can be and ultimately have success as a team. So from year one till now, that shift of just like making sure it goes beyond myself is kind of something that I've had to work on.
Yeah, and I think your impact has been seen it since you've been here in Austin. You were with them obviously in that inaugural season. You've been here ever since as the undisputed starter. How exciting was it when you found out Austin was going to come into the league and you were a free agent and you get signed by them? How exciting was it to know that, all right, you have an opportunity here to really make a name for yourself, finally, especially after going through an entire era of being a backup goalkeeper?
Yeah, the timing couldn't have been any better, honestly. When Austin got announced and then they announced Josh Wolf as the head coach, he was my assistant in Columbus. He was like first call. I was like, "Hey, I'm a free agent at the end of the year. I know you're starting to build out a roster. I would love to come and just give me a chance. Like, I'm not asking you to make me the starter from day one. Just give me a chance." He's like, "Oh, we'll monitor you throughout the year, see how things go." Then, as the year went, our GM in New York, Claudio Reyna, came to Austin, called him, and I was like, "Claudio, been with you for 2.5 years. You know what I've been able to accomplish at New York City." He was like, "Yeah, let's talk at the end of the year." And so the timing of just being a free agent, knowing the head coach, knowing the GM, knowing the ownership from Columbus as well, was just kind of this like whirlwind moment where everything kind of seemed like it was aligning. And it just felt like Austin was the place. And then when my wife hates this story, but I signed a lease to an apartment before I officially signed the contract. She was like, "But how do you know that it's gonna come through?" I was like, "Well, they've offered it. Like, I believe that it's gonna come through. I've agreed to everything. Like, I'm signing the lease to the other."
I love it though. I really like that you've had that belief in yourself and that you finally see it come to fruition here with Austin. And I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on what you're trying to achieve here in this city? Um, Almost like how you signed the lease before it actually was official. What are you envisioning? What do you see happening here prior to it actually being pulled off? Is it an MLS Cup? Is it a deep run as we saw in those early years? What do you envision happening for yourself here?
Yeah, ideally, I can stay here for a long time and be part of the team that lifts MLS Cup for the first time in the city. But for this year, we have a chance to host Open Cup final. So our main focus is on Open Cup. We're also sitting in a playoff position. This would only be the second Austin FC team to make a playoff. So that's a big deal as well. And once you get into the playoffs, you never know what can happen. We always say MLS guys that know the league. It's like regular season is one thing. You just got to get your foot in the door and off or in the postseason, and then it becomes a different season. You never know what's going to happen. And then after that, like we'll see what happens. Like this is a business after all, and you never know like what next year holds for any player. But for me, Austin has been home for the past 5 years, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, I really like this team this season, the version of it. You seem more driven, but also a lot more physical. It seems like you're able to basically take any opponent, at least keep it tight. I would love some insider info here, see what you can give me, because I'm just curious on honestly, just from a player perspective. I was actually in Montreal when you guys were there a week or two ago, and what blows my mind that Montreal and Austin are in the same league because they couldn't be two more different places. It's so far away. But as a player, do you get to explore any cities when you visit, or is it just business? You go in, play the game, and you're out?
Yeah. So one thing that came about from COVID was our trips are shortened. So before COVID hit, we were flying commercial. So we would spend the night in the city. We would have to go a little bit earlier just because of flight delays. Now that we have charter flights because of the COVID pandemic, we're kind of in and out pretty quick. And the only real time you have to explore is just kind of like the morning of the game. And most of us like we'll go get a coffee and then like we'll go back. We'll go on a quick little walk just to walk around. But I've had some time in Montreal. Like I said, I was in preseason there, but that's one thing I do love exploring other cities. I love checking out coffee shops, like going for walks, like just vibe checking the entire city.
Hardest stadium in MLS to play at outside of Q2 Stadium.
So I'll say Galaxy. The field always feels like 10 times bigger than a normal field every time we play there, for whatever reason. I know the dimensions are pretty much the same, but just the optics there. And also this year it was dead quiet. And so it's kind of hard to like inject energy into the team. Oh, interesting. The stadium is so quiet.
Yeah.
I know that they've had some like fan protests due to some certain things, but during the first half, I was listening to the broadcast from their bar. Like I could hear the TV. Like as we were playing, like it was a unique thing, and I was like, okay, this is very strange. So I'll say that one.
Damn, yeah, I really like that answer. I didn't expect it to go that way, but
I could have went different ways. Like New England, their field is the worst, like by far. Like
Yeah.
the turf is terrible.
well, Brad, this has been a perfect interview. Thank you so much. It was nice touching on your career in Austin FC's current season. Wishing you the absolute best in both the Open Cup and also the MLS Cup. And thank you so much for your time, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.